So, hey guys, this is Chad Garrish from Epigrid. I want to take a little bit of time here to lay out a little bit of our history. Some of you guys know us, some of you don't, so I think this is an opportunity for us to kind of tell you our story. I want to thank everyone for coming by, taking time out of your day to sit through this and learn a little bit about what we're trying to do here. So, I'll talk a little bit about Epigrid first, as it's one of the pillars of our business. So Epigrid, we founded Epigrid in 2010. One of the things that we're going to really focus on in this presentation, you're going to hear Chris and I talk about, is a lot about how our practical engineering experience. I want you guys to all understand that we are who you are. I started using SolidWorks in 2008. I came through the ranks of a product designer, a CAD admin, an IT guy, to where in 2008 I started my first business, which is Edge Innovative Solutions. And we'll talk about it later in this presentation, but that's one of the pillars of our business now too. Engineering services has always been part of what Chris and I do. It's what made us experts in SolidWorks years and years ago, and it's how we've run our businesses for years. So Epigrid was founded in 2010 to help support some of those engineering service related activities. So as I was saying, I founded Edge in 2008, which we were providing engineering services. But Epigrid was founded in 2010 to essentially facilitate, as a platform, a way to collaborate and do more engineering services. It's around, as I mentioned before, I had a deep background in PDM. So it made really good sense for us to use PDM to collaborate for those businesses. So it was in 2010 that we started putting SolidWorks PDM on the cloud. And that made us, at that point, we are the pioneers of cloud-hosted PDM and IT infrastructure solutions for SolidWorks. So we've been doing cloud for SolidWorks for about, 8 years now. And what this makes us is a truly engineering-focused IT service solution provider. As we know as engineers, designers, and users of SolidWorks, there's a huge gap between engineering and IT and the services that it takes to properly run these solutions like SolidWorks properly. Now, our cloud solutions are all on an enterprise private cloud, and we have global data center availability. So we're now hosting PDM customers across not only the United States, but around the world. So that's the story on Epigrid. Now I'll hand it over to Chris a little bit and let him talk about SolidBox.
All right, guys. So a lot of y'all know who I am. I'm Chris Castle. I started a company called SolidBox back in 2009 as kind of a culmination of a lot of things that I was seeing in the industry. I started using SolidWorks in 1998, and then it didn't take long before I started being involved with the SolidWorks reseller community. And while I was there, I really started to see that because SolidWorks was the first CAD system to run on a Windows PC, we saw that all of a sudden people needed to be pretty proficient at Windows, at being their own IT person to run SolidWorks. And it became a slightly bigger problem in the late 2000s as Windows 7 came out, and of course Windows 10 and so on. But we had a really cool relationship with Dell Computers and some of the other big OEMs. And we took our very deep understanding of SolidWorks and, of course, computers and IT and all that, and we built a company that pretty much focused on the user experience for SolidWorks, just providing the most incredible out-of-the-box experience for someone who just got their hands on SolidWorks and a new computer. And, of course, that company became SolidBox. Through working through SolidBox, we've interacted with hundreds of SolidWorks resellers across the country, thousands of users, and we've learned so much about what it is, what's really important to those users. What do they value most of all when trying to design a product? And so we've had this company that's allowed us great insight into the world of engineering and so on. Through that experience as well, we've done stuff like project-based training and very deep knowledge building in products like FEA and CFD, and of course stuff like electrical and so on. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide, Chad. So what was really important to Chad and I was that we had these really incredible brands, And we realized, you know what, let's not dilute these brands. Let's figure out exactly what they do and keep them pure at heart with what they do and their mission. And because it was really, we were very worried about this idea of having one brand do too much stuff. And when it was all said and done, we ended up with 3 overall pillars to our businesses. EpiGrid, which Chad mentioned earlier, Edge Innovative Solutions, which was basically kind of a culmination of all the engineering and product development services that we were doing for customers, and then of course SolidBox. And we knew that it was really important to have some sort of entity that could promote these products, sell those products, and of course manage them and provide just a full feedback loop with our customers to make sure that they were happy with all these solutions we were providing them. Chad, I'll go ahead and mute, and I'll give you the next slide.
Thanks, Chris. And hey, I'll add one other thing to that. As Chris said, we wanted to make sure that we protected those brands. So we brought these brands together. I wanted to kind of touch back on the last slide before. What we're doing is these three brands give us an opportunity to offer a comprehensive solution and services. We give us an opportunity to reduce our overlap in services, promote our existing brands, and then consolidate a lot of the technical expertise and message and resources that Chris had around those businesses. So the reason I wanted to mention that is, though we may be a new reseller, we are not new to this game. Our businesses and our brands have been doing business with and for SolidWorks and the reseller channel for over 10 years. So what we realized was Chris and I had taken an opportunity at this point to look across what he and I did, and we said, look, between what we're doing, look, we're doing the cloud, you're doing the hardware, we're doing the services, we got the PDM game, we got all these things that we're doing. But, always the thing for us that was hanging out there was, well, what if one day we could be a SolidWorks reseller? How would that change the game for us? And quite frankly, we had been working within the SolidWorks, within the SolidWorks channel for some time with some of these other resellers, and we weren't really sure right away if that was really the right fit for us, right? But SolidWorks approached us a couple of years ago and said, hey, look, we've been kind of watching what you guys are doing, how you're doing it, and, we think that you guys are a piece of our puzzle, and we want to be a piece of yours as well. And so we had an opportunity to go through that process with SolidWorks and really understand what their vision was, what they wanted their resellership to be. And pretty soon it became apparent that this really was a good fit for us. It really gave us an opportunity to, solidify ourselves and our place in the market, it was great for SolidWorks to take notice and validate what we were doing, right? And understanding that we could, we were already helping their customers. They were giving us leads and giving us resources to hopefully further help their customer base. And so that was really humbling to us and what turned out to be a great opportunity. So this graphic for us is pretty illustrative of how we feel like the process went for us. We had all these pieces, but what was the final piece for us was that centerpiece that pulled all the other pieces together. So what SolidWorks did do is in this process, they recognized that we were a virtual-based business, right? Chris and I had built our business around using some of the most elite SolidWorks users and engineering professionals in the country. We have presence in the West. Obviously, Chris is located out in Utah. We've got people in Utah, California, Nevada that we've been working with. And, of course, EpiGrid, we've been based on the East Coast, and we're here in Atlanta. So as SolidWorks looked at what we could offer their customers and what we brought to the table, they proposed a very interesting territory for us. And I want to allow Chris to talk a little bit about the territory that was assigned to us and what this next slide truly means. Chris, I'll go on mute.
Hey guys, sorry, we're getting used to this software, so I apologize that it's kind of disconjointed here. But hopefully this is coming across loud and clear. So the territory is an interesting story. As Chad mentioned, we're a nationwide company, and that was something that was different to begin with. SolidWorks resellers have always been territorial. They've had a territory given to them by SolidWorks that allowed them to provide a very hands-on experience with their customers and interaction with their customers. And so from the very beginning, we weren't quite sure how that was going to work for our business model, considering that our people were all over the country and that we pretty much serviced every corner of the U.S. So what I want to show you here in this map is, if you look at the blue area, these are areas where we offer our design services, our hardware, our cloud services, basically everything except the SolidWorks products. The hatched areas are where we're currently authorized to sell SolidWorks products. These territories were dedicated or allocated to us by SolidWorks Corporation because there was a need in these areas for what we do. The very detailed and hardcore project-based training. And these are also areas that they have a very dense markets, and so they were assigned to us. Now this map will probably evolve throughout the next years. But what I want to point out to you guys, it's very important here, is that we do offer all these services nationwide except for SolidWorks, unless it's designated here on the map. Can you go to the next slide, Chad? So this is what's really important to bring up to the audience. And when Chad and I decided we were going to go down this path, we wanted to make sure we knew exactly what it was that was going to make us different amongst the other resellers. And it was pretty unanimous, this idea of bringing the V back to value-added reseller. One of the things we noticed throughout the years working with a lot of resellers across the country was that there was an emphasis, all of a sudden, about 10 years ago, there was an emphasis on selling lots of licenses. And that was the appropriate thing to do back then when the economy was very busy. But what the consequence was that a lot of resellers started to have a lot more salespeople than they did technical people. And right off the bat, Chad and I acknowledged that, and we realized, you know what? If we're going to start a business, we need to make sure that we have a lot more technical people to every salesperson that works at Converge. And that's been the foundation of our company. And with that said, we've hired the most elite SolidWorks users across the country. And by being a virtual company, we can truly find those really passionate engineers and designers and machinists that may not all necessarily work in the same state or the same office, but they want to come together as a team to provide the best comprehensive solution to a customer in any given part of the country. And with that said, we offer this total engineering solution. We're not only able to consult and assist you from the very moment you come up with your idea, but we can carry you all the way to the point where you've manufactured your parts. Okay? And like we mentioned before, we take this strategy of something called project-based training. And that's something that's always been very critical to me as an engineer, as a person who's provided training to our customers. Here's the bottom line. You're going to get software one day and say, okay, I need to get this project done by next week. I don't have time to learn all the nuances of SolidWorks. I need someone to come in and help me right off the bat understand how I'm going to use this software to make this part that I got to deliver in 2 weeks. That's where we really strive. We're able to put together a curriculum right off the bat. It can be a combination of teaching you in parallel with a remote web session or on-site session to start using the software, or it can be, hey, I'm going to throw this over the fence to you guys, have you work on it, let me know how you did it, show me everything I need to do after I've delivered my part. Anywhere in that spectrum, we're able to help you guys. Now, what's really exciting, and this is why Chad and I work so well together, is that we are the first SolidWorks reseller to take SolidWorks to the cloud to date. It's something we've been doing for quite a while, and I'm going to let Chad talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to mute myself, Chad.
Thanks, Chris. Guys, I want to touch just a little bit about that first bullet. I want to piggyback on what Chris said about bringing that V back to the bar. Guys, I mentioned before, we've been SolidWorks partners for a while. And as a SolidWorks partner solution, we are part of the value that the resellers can bring to the customers. And as Chris said, over the years we saw this huge shift in our channel to being really sales focused and less technical focused. And that's not to say that that's bad, but that's just to say that the people that we're doing business with are highly technical, and they expect to be working with people that are highly technical, which is why Chris and I have taken, a more, technical approach to this business. And I would assume for those of you that know us, that fits pretty well. And then obviously with all these solutions that we do offer, we worked really hard to close the loop. We feel like if you come to us with a problem and a pain, that somewhere within our solutions offering is the solution, and then we're close enough to it, and we're not far enough removed from being a user that we understand your pain and how to fix it. But this next bullet is really important. What Chris says is, yes, we are the first and the only SolidWorks reseller in the world that can put your SolidWorks solutions in the cloud today. It's not hard. As Chris said, we've had an opportunity as SolidWorks partners to vet out that solution and build a pretty good business on top of helping customers eliminate their IT burdens, move to the cloud, and take advantage of putting SolidWorks there today. We're all out there. We see that there's other solutions that are, trying to figure this out. And what we also know, and what the next bullet is about, is we also know that SolidWorks has some solutions on the horizon that are going to be in the cloud. And our experience of working in the cloud up to this point gives us an advantage to help customers and help them understand, if you're not going to the cloud today, who's going to help you get there, right? And us having experience at this point of not only how to deliver the cloud today, but it gives us, I guess, that tribal knowledge and experience to help you feel comfortable that we can help you go that direction tomorrow. So obviously we still do on-prem services and solutions, but what we understand is most of the people and most of the businesses that we face and see today, all of them at least have a cloud strategy and a plan about how they're going to do this or when they're going to do this. And our vision was to be that reseller out there that could really help our customers do that. Oh, next screen. Sorry, hold on one second. So this kind of leads us to our differentiators a little bit, and I think I want to allow Chris to talk a little bit about this slide and talk a little bit more about our team and who's there to help you, and then some of our other key differentiators that we see that really sets us apart. And I'm sure Chris will have me take a few of these as well.
So going back to what I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits of a virtual company is, and really it will be the future economy for a lot of the country, is that the fact that people don't necessarily work under the same roof anymore. And with that said, we're able to really, with a virtual company, we're able to really bring the best and the brightest minds in the engineering and manufacturing world together as a team. And we really want to make kind of a special forces or a very elite group of engineers feel at home. And so we developed this concept of the SWAT team, the SolidWorks Advanced Technical Team. We wanted a place for the best applications engineers in the country and people working in the industry to come together and find a home where they could hang their hat and say, you know what, I'm a part of this incredible team. I'm going to put all my passion and my energy towards helping other folks achieve the same level of technical expertise that I have or we have as a group. And so right off the bat, we want to make a very structured and a very challenging environment for those people to come into and not only perfect their skills, but to learn new skills, and then allow them to focus on those things that they love to do, so we could match them with the right customers that have those needs. Just a quick example of that: we were approached by a company recently that developed a really high-end hunting stand, tree stand for the market. And they were in a position where they wanted some documentation done for their new product. This company is a direct to consumer business model, so they really needed some really incredible marketing assets and instruction manuals. So they came to us and said, hey, we want to buy SolidWorks Composer, but we have no idea how to use it. And so right away, we were able to match that customer up with a few of our field representatives at Converge to develop these incredible marketing assets for the company. So not only did the customer get exactly what they wanted to deliver to their customer, but they also learned a new skill that will allow them to make their own product manuals in the future. And so that's the future. That's a whole differentiator that we offered on day one to our customers is this, we're not only going to sell you the software, but we have these incredible technical people that want to take ownership of that product for your company and carry you across the finish line with that product. And so with that said, that technical depth allows us to really specialize in the hard products, the stuff that other SolidWorks retailers were having a hard time selling, like SolidWorks Electrical or Composer or Simulation. These are hard products. I mean, it's one thing to get the software. It's a whole different other thing to run it and be proficient at it enough to be profitable. And that's where we come in. We have those people to actually hold your hand throughout the entire process to help you make the most out of that software. We consider ourselves successful when your company is using all those tools and is proficient at all those tools. Chad, why don't you talk a little bit about our cloud products, and how they're real specific to the modern day market.
Thanks, Chris. Before I jump into the cloud and the PDM portion of this, I want to go ahead and jump a few bullet points down here and talk about how that integrates itself into our sales efforts. So a hybrid technical sales and support. So it was important to Chris and I. We had heard so many stories that over time that people that sometimes were selling SolidWorks products weren't necessarily really versed in engineering disciplines. They were sales guys, but they had never been an engineer, or they had never sat behind a desk, or they just didn't really understand where we were coming from as engineers. So it was important to Chris and I to find some of these guys that are on our SWAT team, so to speak, that also had some sales acumen, some ways that had the ability to interact with our customers. Because what we feel like is most of our opportunities to sell products now, we're selling to engineers, we're selling to technical people, and those people, and what resonates with those people are people who also understand what they understand. So our people want to be sold to technically, and that's what we believe, and that's the reason we've integrated those two parts of our business. So with our business, if you get an opportunity to talk to some of our salespeople, you can count on that they know the product, and they've probably most likely been part of some engineering function somewhere. We like to throw around that we don't have anybody within our group that doesn't at least have a CSWP, and I think we're somewhere close to 10 or 12 CSWEs on our staff at this point now as well. Now, we've talked a little bit about it already, some of our specialized portfolio of products and services, and obviously that's the part, right? We're being able to offer hardware, cloud, services, that's an immediate differentiator from the rest of our competition for sure. But if there's one thing that truly sets us apart is we are number one in PDM. There's no one else out there that is as efficient and has the process to deliver PDM and manage PDM and control the customer experience for PDM like we do. This goes back to my background in medical device and documentation. It goes toward our hundreds of implementations, both on-prem and in the cloud. So we have a really good handle on that side of the business. And that side of the business, the PDM solution of this, is a way that really facilitates not only our way of doing business with the customer, but it facilitates the customer's way of doing business with other people as well. So it's a really great part of our business, and it's a solution that we feel really strongly about. And Chris has also talked heavily about our project-based training. That can't be overstated. We can only learn so much out of a tutorial in a book, in a class. But when we go back to our desk, reality sits in. And so our team is there to help you deal with reality. Next slide. So we put this last slide together just to say, we started out saying, how are we different and how are we better? So we covered our differentiators, and then we went from how we're better just to, let's talk a little bit about how we help businesses. So one of the first things that we really recognize in our business was that our goal and what we do really well is we fully and successfully leverage SolidWorks products. So our customers that choose to work with us, we see a lot of them, maybe they're using PDM, they got SolidWorks Pro, they're not using PDM, maybe they're doing simulations, but they're not doing them right, renderings, PDM, the list goes on, right? So there's lots of opportunities in there for our customers to fully and better use the products that they have, okay? But generally speaking, it all goes, the next one is removing those IT constraints. Whether it's a simple installation on your workstation, whether it's a network issue, whether it's a server issue, our experience, and it's one of our biggest differentiators, a lot of our competitors, the other resellers, the IT can be a little bit of the boogeyman a little bit because we have to deal with the customer's IT a lot. And we still do that, right? But our ability to remove the IT constraints helps our customers and frees those up to really focus on their engineering work. And as I mentioned before, a lot of our businesses and customers that we work with, all of them at this point have some sort of cloud strategy. And if they don't have a cloud strategy, we're typically helping them build a cloud strategy. So that part of our business is a lot of fun. It's exciting. And it's really a great way that we help our businesses. Our managed services for sustainable solutions. These solutions that we provide, from PDM to hosting to whatever else we're doing, we've made a concerted effort to try to make sure to remove the management burden away from those. So for instance, with solid box hardware, like Chris has been doing for 10 years, the part of the value that you were getting from the solid box was the fact that the software was already installed, it was already configured, it had an image to go with it. There was some sustainability to that solution that you were buying. Same with our cloud solutions, right? Where we will help you do PDM on the cloud, but we're not just there to help you put PDM on the cloud. We're there to help provide you the CAD and administration services that go along with it so that you can focus on your design and engineering tasks. As Chris has mentioned, we are spread out across the country. Collaboration is what we have mastered to be able to run a business in this manner. And we're very passionate about collaboration. So much so that we spend a lot of time coaching our customers on how to properly collaborate, whether that's in PDM, whether that's in the solutions that they're using. But we spend a lot of time making sure that our customers really understand how to properly collaborate, because as Chris has mentioned, it is the future. It's how we will do business. There's more and more businesses that we work with today are utilizing remote resources, whether that's vendors, suppliers, interns, contractors, consultants. Collaboration is key to success moving forward. It is why we see so many businesses moving to the cloud, and the cloud is instrumental to that. We've touched on another way. We have several customers, as Chris has mentioned, with the deer stand companies. We've got companies that are doing automated. We're helping them with design engineering services for manufacturing lines. And that goes to being able to supplement and plug in very easily and provide those services to the customer. Engineering work, as we know, it goes up and down. We have peaks and we have valleys. And usually engineering functions, when they hit those peaks, the opportunity to be able to scale your workforce is paramount. And then lastly, project-based training for your team. There's no better way to learn your software than with a real life, real scenario. And we've been successful with it for years. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Chris. And I'll let Chris talk and kind of wrap this up. Chris, is there anything that you want to help about how we help businesses before you move on to the next slide?
No, you go ahead and move on to the next slide, buddy. I'll wrap up. So guys, one of the biggest things that's happened through this event of becoming a SolidWorks reseller has been validation from SolidWorks Corporation. Like Chad mentioned, we've done a lot of things before. We were doing a lot of things before we were ever approached by SolidWorks. But when we came to them and said, look, everybody knows SolidWorks now. there's only so many more licenses of SolidWorks to be sold. What really needs to happen now is focus on the hard stuff and really helping people make the most out of the rest of the software. And what really resonated with me and Chad was the fact that they said, you know what, we absolutely agree with you, and we know this is the next step. This is the future for the CAD and CAM world. And with that validation and that support from SolidWorks, everybody here at Converge is very motivated and very passionate about pursuing this highly technical and highly detail-oriented approach to selling and support. And because of that, everyone here is just very motivated to help you guys and help your customers and so on. We want you guys to be successful. It's a very collaborative thing. We want to provide services to you, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us as a company to recommend your services and your products to our customers. We're a big family. We've been doing, I'm looking at the attendee list. I know most of you guys, at some point, we've either sent you guys customers or you've sent us customers. It's a very symbiotic thing, and we're very appreciative of it. We can't thank you enough for all that support over the last few years. What are the next steps? Well, guys, we're just kind of dumping a lot of information in your lap right now. This is just the first of many webinars and events we're going to have. But please, email us. Our email, you can get us at easily as sales@converge.design. Give us a shout on the phone and come to our events. If you can go to the next slide, Chad, we have 3 upcoming events. The first being in Grand Junction, Colorado, next Tuesday, where we're going to show you a very detailed explanation of those cloud products. We're also going to do some technical sessions and tips and tricks on how to make the most out of SolidWorks, kind of almost a classroom style. And we're going to repeat that process for Las Vegas next month, and then we're going to have an event in Northern California, and then of course on the East Coast. And we're going to try to do at least 2 or 3 events every month. So we'll communicate those events with you in the future. But in the meanwhile, thank you so much for coming and spending some time on this webinar. We really appreciate your time, guys. Please hit us up after this phone call if you have any immediate questions. In the meanwhile, have a great week and a great day. Thank you so much.
And before we let you go, it looks like we have one question that's been asked already that we can answer here. We'll spend just a little time here. If you do have some extra questions, there's the question and answer functionality in the webinar. Go ahead and send your questions.
Yeah, so the question from Isaac was, when do you think the Silicon Valley event will occur? We're shooting to do that in July. I'm still working with the location near Santa Clara, a place called Hiller Airplane Museum. And I will get you, Isaac, I'll send you some details about that event as soon as I possibly can. If anyone else has any questions, please use that functionality.
And if you do have any questions that occur once we get offline here, you can always email sales@converge.design. I think that was shown in one of the slides. We monitor that email address real frequently, so any questions you have, sales@converge.design. So if there aren't any more questions, I think we'll probably cap it there and let you get back to work. Oh, wait, one more. Let's see what we got.
I got another one. Oh, Philip Causey, Atlanta. Oh, Philip, why didn't you call Chad right after this event? I'm sure he might be able to speculate a date for the Atlanta event, but I don't see why we can't have that in the next month, or definitely within the next 2 months, but there's a good chance we might be able to have that in June. All right, well, folks, thank you so much. We're going to stop the meeting here, and we'll look forward to talking to you some more. Thank you.